It's the eve of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, arguably the biggest, the most exciting test series on the planet. Maybe even ahead of the Ashes, maybe even ahead of India-Pakistan at the moment, because that's how Border Gavaskar trophies in the past have been. But this time around, there's more talk of the pitch than actual action itself. And whether that pitch talk is fair, is the pitch that the Indian team is preparing unfair? There are two schools of thought here, and we are going to share our point of view. So here's the Nagpur pitch firstly, and why is it that this time it's different from previous occasion? One thing you understand, that if it's a home series, it's only fair if the pitch favors the home team. And so you prepare the pitch accordingly. This time it's unusual. It's unusual because either you keep the entire pitch dry to make it spin friendly, or you water the entire pitch, or leave grass to help the fast bowlers. Whatever you choose to do is mostly uniform. This time it's different because the picture that emerged out of Nagpur 2 days ahead of the test match, it showed that this area was being watered and these two patches were left dry. Anyway, the pitch is considered to be dry, but these two patches, no watering, which means that the ball will spin a lot in these two areas. And what does that do? If this is where the batsman is batting, it's clear here that it has been made to favor the bowlers that would be bowling to the left-hander. So if you're a left-handed batsman, then you're going to be in trouble. And it's clear ploy here that that's how the pitch is being prepared. It's okay to prepare a turning track, and we've had that in the past. For the very first time, you're not only preparing a turning track, but you're also ensuring which part of the wicket turns a little more than the other. I have to say, this is just next level planning.
Bro. You very chalak, bro.
So right after what has been observed in Nagpur, the Australian media is up in arms. Few things that they've been talking. Fox Cricket said, what's going on here? Using that particular picture, saying pictures expose bizarre Indian ploy as Aussies' concerns grow over the first test pitch. So notice that word that they're using, bizarre. You've got Robert Craddock, one of the leading sports writer of Australia. He's written, the Nagpur deck looks from a distance like one of the most deliberate and cynical stitch-ups ever. A sneaky, shameless piece of pitch doctoring designed to create nightmares for Australia's left-handed batsmen. So just notice the strong words that he's used. Deliberate and cynical stitch-up, a sneaky, shameless piece of pitch doctoring. So notice strong language being used by the Australian media. More, the ICC should step in and do something about it if they think it's not right. And this is Simon O'Donnell, a former Australian cricketer, and he's already saying that ICC needs to investigate. Of course, ICC always ranks the pitches and gives them points. There have been occasions that in a few series that Indian pitches have scored very low on ICC point system. But he's saying this time around, the ICC should look into it even before the test match starts, because they smell that this is a conspiracy. What that is being doing right now is not right at all. What I can tell the Australian media and the Australian team at the moment is this. Okay, there's also another school of thought. This is the legend after whom the trophy has been named, Sunil Gavaskar. He wrote a column in Midday newspaper, and I'm just quoting the operative part here. He says, a country where a test match finishes in 2 days has no legs to stand on and moan about Indian pitches. So he's not mincing his words. He's referring to the Australia-South Africa test match that happened at the Gabba, finished in 2 days. So he's saying, if listen, fast pitches, green pitches, helping the fast bowlers, if that finishes in 2 days, why are you complaining if it's a turning track, or that pitches or the test matches here finish early? Because the spinners dominate. So please look into your issues first, look how you're preparing the pitches, and then talk and comment about what India is doing, is Sunny Gavaskar's stand at the moment. Now, this is very interesting. Australian players, what is their point of view? And this is Pat Cummins, his statement after looking at that Nagpur pitch. He says, I don't think it's a terrible thing. It's another challenge. It makes touring over here, this is India, even harder when you know conditions are custom made for them, that is the Indian team. Now, what's really interesting, first bit, it's good messaging by the Australian team. When you are telling the team, doesn't matter what kind of pitch you're going to prepare, it's a challenge we'll take on. That will not only help your team perform better, it will also send a message out to the other team that, listen, hey, we're not worried. And I think that's good messaging. If there were concerns, forget what the Australian media is saying, if there were concerns raised by the Australian players also openly in the media, they may be worried at the back of their minds, but if openly they're saying this, then that's a good sign if you're an Aussie fan, that you think that the Australian team is handling it the right way. However, you really need to read between the lines as well. Just read this particular word that he says, custom made for them. So in a sense, he's also alleging that the pitch is being made exactly tailor-made, exactly, and again, not the entire pitch, but certain areas of the pitch custom made, as in you're just playing with those particular areas and making it in favor of the host. And I think that is the really contentious issue right now. Dry pitches, spin pitches, I think visiting teams expect that, but can you make pitches keeping in mind that Australia may have 5 left-handers in their 11 or 6 left-handers, and because India may have less than that, so let's prepare a pitch that troubles the left-handers, and so that creates more problem for the Australian team than the Indian team. Honestly telling you, I've never seen anything like this before. Having said that, this is a ploy that the Indian team is using. It can very well backfire too, because Australia's 2 best batsmen are Labuschagne and Steve Smith. Both of them are right-handers, and all it takes is one good knock from one of these batsmen to take the test match away from you. And then India also have a few left-handers. So it's a ploy that India is using. As I said, unprecedented. I've seen pitches being prepared according to the home conditions, but just patches of it being prepared differently, one patch different, the other patch different, very unusual. So this is our take here on Sports Today. We're saying no issues in pitches playing to the strength of the home team, but then the pitch as a whole needs to be prepared in a certain way. Preparing different parts of a pitch in different ways does qualify as pitch doctoring. Now, as neutral as I'm trying to be, we've also pointed out that some of the criticism that is coming from Australian media is way over the top, but you've got to call a spade a spade. Spin conditions, spinning tracks, no problems. In fact, I was one of them who even supported the Indian team in those pitches that you offered the English team, where test matches finished in 2 days. Those are the conditions. If fast pitches, as Mr. Gavaskar points out, they can have matches finishes in 2 and 3 days, then so spin pitches can also be expected to do that. No problem with that. But when you start, tailor making them or customizing them based on number of left-handers, right-handers, how many left-arm spinners you have or off spinners you have, then I think it's a problem. Having said all of this, now listen, this is 2 days before the test match. Pitches can look very different even on the day of the test match. You don't know what happens by then. And I think the proof of the pudding is in its eating. So we will get to know whether it is really going to be like that left-handers would be trouble more than right-handers. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to watch out how the pitch plays. Also, I remember the last time around that the teams were here in the Ranchi game. There was a lot of talk about the pitch, saying it's going to be dead. It'll be a rank turner. Test match won't last. Very unfair pitch. A lot of halabala was there in the Australian media too. Eventually, what happened? We got a dull draw. So sometime analysis from the outside, anything that you see. KL Rahul came out and said that, hey, listen, no matter how closely you see a pitch, and we are only seeing pictures, he's right there. He's saying still, there is no definite science to reading pitch. Anyone can get it right, anyone can get it wrong. So I think overall we'll have to hold our horses. But if indeed the pitch behaves the way that it's intended to behave, or way that the pictures are suggesting, then I think there is a problem, and I think then the ICC really needs to look into it. Like the video if you enjoyed our content, and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.